Welcome back, Ram Nation, to episode 2 of the Ramblin Rams podcast. I'm Anthony, also known as Outlaws of CSU on Twitter.
And I'm Ari, also known as CSU Moses on Twitter.
And this week's episode, we're going to talk about the CSU defense. We're going to go through an in-depth analysis on the defense going into the 2025 season. We're also going to talk a little bit about Torrey Horton's breakout in Seattle. And we're going to talk about some of the latest news on CSU, so let's dive in.
Alrighty, let's dive in. Let's do it.
Yeah, so first segment of the day, we're going to talk about Torrey Horton. He looked really good in camp.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some of the videos coming out on Twitter.
Been seeing some clips of some crazy catches.
Just wanted to shine a little light on it. He has a really good chance at breaking the depth chart as a potentially the number 3 receiver in Seattle. And it's really exciting to watch.
It is very exciting to watch, I agree.
There's a viral video that came out of him mossing Josh Joby, who is one of the starting corners on the Seahawks defense. And he's looking really good, so we're really excited about that. What do you think? What would Torrey Horton look like in this year's Seattle offense?
I don't know, dude. I think Torrey Horton. I think it all depends on how Sam Darnold plays. You know, Sam Darnold did great in Minnesota under who was their head coach? It was not Kevin. Stefanski is the Browns coach.
Oh, dude, I'm blanking on the Minnesota.
Yeah, but the Minnesota head coach is very well known for turning quarterbacks who were really poor, who played very poor in other teams, and turning them into absolute studs. So I think mostly it's gonna come down to how Sam Darnold plays. But if Sam Darnold plays exactly how he played in Minnesota, I think Torrey Horton could be an absolute star.
I think Torrey's skill set fits perfectly for what they're looking for.
I think so too.
They've been looking for an outside receiver that can really take the top off, really, and if Sam Darnold could get the ball to him down the field, it'll really help him out and get his chances going.
I'm thinking because they don't have DK Metcalf anymore.
That's his role.
I don't know who their number 1 is. Who's their number 1?
Really, their number 1 is Smith and Jigba.
Oh,
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, you're totally right.
And they brought in Cooper Kupp, so
they do have Cooper,
Torrey, but they're both slot guys. So really what they're looking for is an outside guy that can be a deep threat for them, and that's exactly what Torrey is. So
I think honestly though, I think that Torrey, as long as Sam Darnold plays well, I think Torrey could be an absolute star his rookie year.
I think even if Sam Darnold had any injury problems, I think a guy like Milroe coming in as a rookie, I think they've developed a good bond, and we'll see that in preseason as well. If Milroe throws touchdown after touchdown to Torrey in preseason, it'll really help his case. Yeah,
definitely. Like I said, I think it just comes down to the quarterback play at the end of the day. I think we were talking about this earlier. You were hearing things about how people were thinking that Torrey Horton could be a Pro Bowler in his first year.
Yeah, the Seahawks fans are a little bit delusional, but they're predicting some big things out of Torrey. He's picked up a little nickname, and throughout the Seattle fan base on Twitter, they're calling him Jerry Rice Jr., which is a little bit out there, but
hey, man,
it's exciting to see next level Rams. For sure.
Oh, definitely. It's
some other guys like Mo Kamara. I'm really excited to see if he can break the depth chart for Miami this year.
Definitely. Trey McBride.
Yeah, and even Drew Moss.
Oh yeah, he's the lineman for the Niners, right?
Yeah. He got picked up as a free agent, and apparently he's going to play a lot during the NFL preseason.
Okay, cool.
For the 49ers, so that'll be big for him.
Is he a guard? Is he playing guard?
Yep, he's going to play guard for the Niners.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely very exciting to see. I don't know. I think I'm most excited to see Trey McBride. I think Trey McBride is going to be I think Trey McBride is going to be an absolute stud this year. That's going to be my fantasy guy right there. I'm just saying that now. That's who I'm drafting first. Or not drafting first, but that's my starting tight end.
Would he be your first round pick?
Hey!
He's gonna go early.
If he puts in the work, then I think I'd take him as a first round draft pick.
I feel like for a lot of CSU fans that are doing fantasy this year, Trey McBride's gonna be a very popular
I think Torrey
pick.
Horton actually will be really good.
Torrey might be my sleeper pick.
Torrey might be a sleeper. I can't believe Torrey got picked in the It was the third round.
Yep.
Dude,
No, fourth round. Fourth round.
The Seahawks might have got an absolute steal out of this. Dude.
Yeah, they're already calling him a steal of the draft.
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely.
But yeah, we could segue into our next segment here. We're gonna talk about the DBs and how they've looked in CSU's few practices so far in training camp. Mm-hmm. They've been actually, I wouldn't say they've been shutting down the offense, but they've been playing really good. Mm-hmm. I believe when they interviewed Jay this past week, he was talking about a few of the guys like Lamondre Joe, CJ Blocker. It's just next level athleticism that we haven't seen in the DB room lately.
Definitely. Yeah, that's the one weak point that we saw last year with CSU. Was our biggest weak point was our corners. You know, at least when I was going to the games, that was the biggest thing that I saw constantly. Was there was just getting beat or like just missing their routes and stuff.
We've lacked speed in that room, and a guy like CJ Blocker, who we brought over from Utah in the transfer portal this year, he's shown off his speed, and he's a legit 4.3 to 4.4 guy, and that's what we need in the corner room. Is guys that can cover, they can man up, they can stay step for step with a lot of these wide receivers. There's some really good wide receivers in our league.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited. Like Jahari Rogers is a really good one, especially when you have guys coming from big schools. You know, Jahari came from Kansas and
Florida before that.
And Florida, he has experience. Is he he's a senior?
I believe he's a senior. I believe he's a grad senior. Yeah.
I'm excited to see how Jahari's going to do. I think also like with these younger guys, I think having someone of like Jahari's like work ethic and having that like that knowledge and skill of playing in the big leagues and playing at big schools and stuff, I think that will really help these smaller guys who haven't been playing very much, and they don't really know too
taking on a leadership role.
Taking on a leadership role and
stuff. And we're going to go through an in-depth analysis of our defense this year, and might as well start with the cornerback room. We're going to start from the top. Jahari Rogers, he's a Kansas transfer. As we talked about, he was at Florida before that. Former 4-star recruit, almost a 5-star, very highly rated guy coming out of high school. He just has the athleticism we haven't had. He's a guy that can press. He's a guy that can play really good cover two. Another guy is Dylan Phelps. He's returning for his sophomore year. He showed flashes a season ago, and we're expecting a really big role out of him. The other day, when Jay talked to the team for the first time, he made all of the guys that were young guys last year step up in the room, and he pretty much gave them just to talk about how they need to take bigger roles this year. They have to become leadership guys, and Dylan Phelps was one of those guys. A couple more transfers we brought in that'll be contributors in the cornerback room. Lamondre Jeezy Joe. So his nickname's Jeezy.
It is an interesting nickname. That is a top 5 name right there.
Top 2 nickname on the team, and we know what number 1 is. But he's a guy that's come from a FCS program, but he played a lot at his previous school.
Where was it? Sac State?
Or was it was not Sac State. I'm already forgetting which one, and we could look it up real quick.
Let me look it up real quick while you. Oh, never mind. You got it.
I got it.
He's got it. He's got it, ladies and gentlemen.
It should say on our website here. He was at Missouri State.
Missouri State, okay.
And I believe he was a second team all FCS corner. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited about him. He's been flashing in camp. He is really starting to seem like he's actually going to be our starting outside corner along with Jahari Rogers and CJ Blocker, who we'll talk about next. And we talked about him a little bit ago.
Yeah.
He's just an athletic guy. He's a speed guy. You could rely on him to play man press. If we ever want to go dime on defense, we can have 4 guys in. And the 4 guys would be Jahari Rogers, Dylan Phelps, Jeezy Joe, and CJ Blocker. I'm never going to get bored of that.
I was going to say, I'm never going to say that Lamondre. I'm always
calling him Jeezy.
I think that is a top 10. That's going to be a fire chant, bro.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Jeezy chants is going to be crazy. I think that's going to be cool as hell.
And in the back end behind them, we're going to talk about the safeties here. Jake Jarmalovich, which is a mouthful. He's a Holy Cross transfer at safety. He was also a all FCS guy a year ago, and actually was one of the most highly touted guys in the transfer portal this year. But a lot of the bigger schools from the SEC and ACC were overlooking him, and we're very lucky to have him. He's a guy that has a lot of experience. He's a tackler. He's a hitter. He can cover ground very easily. Yeah. We talked about A.J. Nolan a lot last episode.
Yeah.
A.J. Nolan, redshirt freshman, not a lot of experience. He's going to have to really get into the swing of things this year. So I'm not expecting a lot of things, big stats from him early in the season. Yeah. But he's a good guy to have out there because he can fly, he can jump, he can tackle. He's a great cover guy. So, yeah, he'll be our starting free safety. I expect Jake Jarmalovich to be more of the strong safety guy.
Definitely.
And then the guy that we're really excited about and could be a top 10 contributor on the entire team this year is Aiden Hector.
Yep.
Aiden Hector will play in the box. He'll play at nickel. He'll play at safety. I mean, he's just going to be a jack of all trades out there. And this guy's a sixth-year senior. Like, this is a guy that we need to be maybe the leadership guy on the defense. We'll see. We have a couple linebackers that'll be really the leaders of the defense overall in general. But Aiden Hector in the back end, that's a guy that we can really rely on.
Oh, definitely. I'm watching Aiden. Aiden was a probably top 10 player on our team just in general probably last year.
I expect a lot about him, but there were times that he was a little bit underwhelming throughout the season. But then he's definitely had his bright spots.
Yeah, I was gonna say him and Blackburn when they were in the backfield.
Yeah, him Jack Howell and Henry Blackburn. They were very good safeties a year ago.
Dude, they were doing great for most of the season. You know, I'm excited to see how he takes on this because I think this is going to be his first year taking on a real leadership role because
100%.
I would probably think Henry Blackburn was probably our big leader on the defense.
He was definitely the vocal leader. So him and Chase Wilson.
I'm curious to see how Aiden Hector takes over for Henry Blackburn to take over that big leadership role and motivate the other guys to do their thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
I think that Aiden Hector needs to be the guy that gets a couple interceptions here and there for us.
Right.
Last year, I think that was kind of missing. A couple years ago, he got a few of them. And last year, I don't think he got one. So I think this year he needs to definitely try and get a few under his belt.
I agree.
Yeah, moving on. We're going to talk D-line and linebackers. Let's start D-line. A guy like Gabe Jones, who's a transfer from New Mexico State, all-Conference USA player a year ago. Big shoes to fill. We lost a lot on our D-line. But overall, I think our D-line looks more athletic, more physically imposing this year. Mm-hmm. Gabe Jones is a guy that's 6'3", 280. He won't be a nose tackle, but he's exactly the guy that you want at that defensive end spot.
Yeah. Looking at our possible D-line depth chart right now, we got some big guys, dude. We
big dudes.
We got some really big dudes.
We finally have the beef up front.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, we talked about Danius Jackson a little bit last episode. Yeah. Danius Jackson is 340 pounds.
Yeah, dude. He's built like a tank. He is a tank, dude.
And he's a guy you want.
If I'm a center or a guard, I do not want to block that guy, bro. That guy will pancake me and run me over.
And alongside next to him at defensive tackle, we bring in Alton Tarber, who's an Oklahoma transfer. Mm-hmm. He did not play a lot at Oklahoma, but this is a guy that's also a former 4-star recruit. He actually took an entire year off of football, so it might take him a little bit of time
to get back.
To get conditioned and everything like that. Alton Tarber is also a 330-pound defensive tackle. So you got an Oklahoma transfer and a Kentucky transfer that are both over 330 pounds. Just up front. That's a center's worst nightmare.
Let me ask you a question. Wasn't Danius Jackson a top transfer portal recruit too? Was it someone else?
Alton Tarber was the guy that was rated a little bit higher than Danius.
Okay.
Danius was a bit under the radar. He didn't play really at all at Kentucky, but I mean he's just a very physically imposing guy.
Yeah.
And his high school film pops, so I'm very excited.
How big was he in high school? He had to be huge in high school.
Probably at least 300 pounds in high school. I think he put on some weight when he got to Kentucky.
Yeah, dude, that's terrifying.
Yeah, no, it's extremely terrifying. A guy that Norvell's really excited about, and he actually went to Mountain West Media Days to represent our defense, is Mukendi Wakalonji. Had a good season last year. Played very well against Wyoming and Air Force last season.
He did, yeah.
And made a couple really big strips for fumbles against Utah State when we needed him most.
How many sacks did he have last year? Because I remember
I believe it was like 5.5 or 6.5. He wasn't a guy that got to the quarterback a lot. That was more Gabe Kurschke. Yeah. But he did get 3 sacks against Air Force, and that was one of his biggest games.
That was the game. Yeah, I do remember that.
That was his
him and Gabe in that game were absolutely shredding
that game.
Air Force's offensive line.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited because was Mukendi he's a junior?
He's a senior now.
Oh, he's a senior. Yep. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's been here for a while. He was here during Steve Adazio's last season. That was his freshman year.
Really? Was he ever redshirted?
I believe he redshirted in the COVID year, and then 2021 was his redshirt freshman season. So he's a 6th-year guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, man. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he's been here for
Yeah, he's been here for a while.
Yep, and then our final guy on the D-line that I'm expecting to play quite a bit is Andrew Lorich. I believe he'll rotate a little bit at that DN spot with both Gabe Jones and Mukendi Wakalonji. Andrew Lorich is a guy that's sneaky athletic. He's a little bit undersized at about 270, 265, but he's a guy that you can put at D end and at defensive tackle at times, and he's just a guy that can swim move offensive linemen and be more of that agile pass rusher at defensive tackle.
Oh yeah, it's kind of low, not really off topic, but my biggest question is how I think these first couple games are going to be interesting, especially with because our D line's completely different.
Yes,
completely different. I'm curious how the chemistry is going to work out.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think that's going to be – I think the first couple games, I'm curious to see how they play together as a team because, since they're all, different guys, they all came from different places. I'm curious to see how well they will play against, in our first couple non-conference games, against UTSA.
I think the personnel's there, but I'm a little bit worried about how they mesh together as well. That's where we just kind of have to put our faith in the new defensive staff, how Tyson Summers is going to line them up.
Yeah.
How well can he coach these guys to prepare for teams like Washington and teams like Wazoo and UTSA? Because trust me, 2 of your first 3 games being Washington and UTSA, it's kind of frightening to see what those offenses could do to a defense that's never played together
Definitely.
before.
It's like going straight up to the front of the line. Just instantly getting put into the toughest
thrown into the fire for
Thrown straight into the fire. But hey, depending on how they play, if these guys play very well, even if we don't win the games or anything, if they play well, it's a great confidence booster for that whole defensive line, that whole defense.
I think winning one of the 2 games between UTSA and Washington needs to happen for confidence, and obviously UTSA is the more likely one of the 2.
I think so too.
I think if you drop that UTSA game at home, I'm afraid of what it could do to our team's confidence. But maybe it'll
put a fire under
them. Going into conference play.
Definitely.
Our final position group is the linebackers, and I believe that this is the strongest position group on the entire defense. The first one is Donut Evans, Jaquez Donut Evans, the best nickname on the team.
That is the best nickname
100%. Best nickname in the Mountain West for sure.
Bro, I gotta get me a CSU jersey that just says Donut on it.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome. Put Donut and then put Evans.
Yeah.
Man, we need to get some. Add that to the list. Rocky Beers and now Donut Evans.
The Donut Evans and Rocky Beers. I need both of them.
Jaquez will be more of that outside linebacker role. He's gonna both pass rush. He's gonna also be back in coverage. He's a guy that in the 3-3-5 scheme, he'll be that standing up edge rusher similar to a Mo Kamara and a Shaq Barrett. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting because it fools offenses a little bit because he's able to drop back into a flat and into a curl, and it just throws quarterbacks off. You don't expect that out of a guy that's 270 pounds to just start playing pass coverage. So he's a freaky guy. He actually He actually got a little bit of a shout out from Rico Knows, who's a very popular Twitter page that just pretty much goes over all of his favorite players in college football, a lot of unknown guys. And he made a post about Jaquez Evans yesterday, and it blew up a little bit. And it's got me excited a little bit because if Rico Knows is a guy that's giving Donut Evans his flowers. I think he has a really good chance to get some more preseason recognition as well.
And also, this is just a little bit off topic, but yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like Twitter, like big Twitter accounts talking about CSU and how good we might actually
It's a little bit surprising because I thought we would fly a little bit more under the radar in preseason expectations.
That's what I was thinking too.
And I'm starting to see some people pick us to win the Mountain West, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, like there is I forgot who made the post, but there was a post of this guy does a lot of posts with like G5 teams.
Yep.
And it was the top 10 like G5 games week 1 that a G5 team could beat a Power 5 school.
Yeah, we were number 9.
We were number 10.
Like
yeah, they had us the number 10 game of us possibly beating Washington.
Yeah.
Which honestly is it's kind of intriguing. It's very intriguing, I think.
I think it really is an intriguing matchup, to be honest, because I think personnel-wise, we actually do match up well with Washington. I think our DBs are athletic enough to stay with their wide receivers. I think we have enough beef in the D-line to take away inside runs. The one thing I'm a little bit worried about is Washington's outside zone running schemes, and I'm a little bit worried about halfback stretch, pitch plays, things like that. Like, can our defense rally and stop their running back? Because Washington has a very good running back. I believe he was ranked as the 3rd best running back in the Big Ten. So that'll be the struggle right there. We got a little bit off topic there.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to point that out. You brought up the whole
thing. We're also before we talk about the inside linebackers, let's go over our other outside linebacker, other edge rusher that'll be on the other side. Paul Tangelo, he's a St. Francis transfer from FCS. He was also a first-team FCS player, and he put up big stats at St. Francis. He's a guy that, because Jaquez Evans is on the other side, people are not going to notice how good our other edge rusher is, and Paul Tangelo is a guy that could get you 10 sacks this year. He got 12.5 last year for St. Francis. He's the guy that gets after it. It'll be interesting to see how he does against some of the better tackles in FBS. But I just really like both of our edge rushers. And to combat that, our inside linebackers are our strongest group as well. We got Owen Long, who's a preseason Mountain West. I believe he was 3rd team or he was
second team.
Second team or 3rd team.
Second or 3rd team.
Yeah, and then our other inside linebackers, Jacob Ellis. Guys, Jacob Ellis was a starting inside linebacker at Iowa State last year. A lot of people are confused on why he made the decision to go to CSU after being a starter for Iowa State, but I think it possibly has to do with the insane depth that Iowa State has on their defense. And he just knew he would get a lot of playing time at CSU this year. Jacob Ellis is a very good football player, and I was shocked to see that Jacob Ellis didn't get any preseason recognition by the Mountain West, by the voters that were doing the all-conference teams. Jacob Ellis and Owen Long are both all-conference players.
Yeah, it is kind of surprising that the Mountain West didn't show any love to them at all.
No.
Especially, like watching them, like especially Jacob Ellis, like how he played at Iowa State. The dude was a beast.
He flies around.
He's a beast, dude, and it doesn't make any sense.
He's a 225-pound linebacker, so just by that you can assume that he flies around. He can play pass coverage, he can tackle, he's an ankle biter. He'll get right up in the hole and chop a tree down. And I'm really excited about him and Owen Long. They're both going to be able to do a lot of different things in the Tyson Summers defense.
I'm definitely excited to see how that's going to turn out. I promise you, if this defense turns out to be very good and like a top defense in the Mountain West, Jacob Ellis is going to be up there with one of the names in the top. Probably first team Mountain West. I would probably say.
I expect both of them to be on the preseason all-conference.
100%.
And actually, before we talk about our next segment, out of all of these guys that we have up here, who do you think are the most likely to be all-conference guys?
Let's see. I'd probably go Jacob Ellis, probably one of them. Jaquez Evans.
Yep.
I'd probably go Jahari Rogers might be a sleeper.
He is a sleeper.
I think Jahari Rogers is a sleeper. I'm curious. Alden, is he going to be between Tarber or Jackson? I
don't think either of the defensive tackles will be. There's just so many good interior D linemen in the conference.
Yeah, that's true. I'd probably honestly,
I'm gonna say Owen Long, and I'm gonna say Owen Long, and Dylan Phelps is another sleeper because I think Dylan Phelps at nickel this year, you'll see a lot more plays being made, and him being outside, he was a good outside corner for us last year. He is a nickel corner.
I'm curious about Jake Dramalovich. I think he might be a sleeper too.
Yeah,
I think because
he's the question mark of the defense, because when you go from him and Paul Tangelo, they're both in the same conversation. When you go from FCS to FBS, no one really knows how you're gonna play when you're going up a level. And when you're an FBS safety and an FBS outside linebacker, it's just a whole different world. You're doing a lot of the same stuff, but it's just with a different caliber of play. And if Jake Jarmalovich is the same player in FBS as FCS, he will be without a doubt a all-conference player. I don't know if he'll be a first-team all-conference or second-team, but he'll find his way on the third-team all-conference. I think so too.
Yeah, I agree. I think, so I'd probably go, if we're thinking all conference, I'd go Dramalov. Oh my God, his name is
Jarmalovich.
Jarmalovich. Jahari Rogers. Yep. Honestly, Donut Evans. He's definitely. And then Ellison Long, probably, I would say as well. I think all 5 of those guys are going to be all conference.
Yeah,
players.
if we can, that's the goal. Is to get 5 or 6 defensive players on any of the all-conference lists for the Mountain West.
Definitely.
So that's the perfect transition. Can Jaquez Evans be a defensive player of the year candidate by the end of the year?
I think it's very possible. The biggest issue that I'm seeing with it is UNLV has some absolute insane transfers.
They have insane talent, and so does Boise State.
And Boise State does too, and SGSU has some insane defensive players.
San Diego State has arguably the best defensive player in the conference. I'm blanking on his name, but he's an edge rusher for them.
Did he play for them last year?
He did play for them last year.
He led the league.
Yep, he led the league in sacks.
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, he honestly, did he win DPOY last year?
I believe he did.
Okay, so. Yeah, I would say Jaquez Evans has the talent to be a defensive player of the year player. It's just he has to put up some insane stats. So many good players in the Mountain West now.
Yep.
So many transfers from big schools.
Yep.
Like UNLV
has a lot of them.
UNLV's whole defense is just a bunch of power forward guys.
And I believe so. Boise State has another guy that's similar to the SDSU guy. I believe his last name is Virgil Green. I might be wrong on that. But he's also a defensive end edge rusher for them, and he is just a beast. So I think Jaquez Evans, you have to throw them in the conversation with them. I don't think he'll exceed them, but I think Jaquez Evans has a good chance to be that DPOY, or at least in that conversation by the end of the year. But things have to happen.
Definitely.
He has to get probably over 80 tackles. I mean, he had 100 tackles at Western Kentucky a couple years ago. If he could get over 80 tackles, over 10 sacks, I mean, you just have to be in that conversation after that.
Definitely. Well, I mean, because the guy from San Diego State had 16 sacks.
16 and a half last year.
He was putting up NFL sack numbers.
And Virgil Green from Boise State, I think I'm getting his name wrong, but he had over 10 sacks last year as well.
Crazy.
I mean, it is insane stuff.
Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah. We're going to resume our episode here. For our next segment, we're going to talk about the new Ring of Honor introduced by John Weber. Yeah. We're super excited about this. In a second, we're going to go over all of the new inductees. There's some really cool ones, man. You want to go through it?
Yeah. So we got some big names, definitely. We got Bradley Van Pelt, Sonny Lubick, Jason Smith, Al Bubba Baker, and Joey Porter, as well as Amy Van Dyken, and is it Angela?
I think it's Nope? Angela Nope or
Nope.
Angela Nope. I don't know how to say her name.
Yeah.
So apologies for that.
Yeah.
Let's go through this a little bit. Bradley Van Pelt, one of our most favorite players in CSU history, infamous for the head spike. Sonny Lubick, the greatest football coach of all time, maybe the greatest coach in CSU history over any sport.
Oh, definitely.
Jason Smith, one of the best CSU basketball players of all time, really the first touted NBA pro. Al Bubba Baker, Detroit Lions legend, multiple-time Pro Bowler. I believe he's a Hall of Famer. I might be wrong on that, but I think he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And then one of my most favorite players in CSU football history, Joey Porter.
Yeah.
Just a really cool list. Amy Van Dyken is one of the best athletes in the history of the school.
Oh, definitely. She's an Olympic freak. She is an insane swimmer and diver. Like she's
one of the coolest stories in CSU history.
Yeah, she does. She does. I would say cool story. Joey Porter. I think he started out in Memphis, right? What school was it? Because he didn't originally come to CSU. He transferred.
I actually don't know.
I think Joey Porter transferred from a smaller school to CSU, and I think this is just a CSU thing. We just have a history of just taking guys who end up becoming absolute studs from smaller schools and turning them into NFL prospects. Like Joey Porter is a great example of that.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if Al Baker also transferred from a smaller school.
I'd have to look that up, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
I
know BVP. He was actually I believe either a tight end or linebacker, and when he transferred here, we moved him to quarterback. And
I did not know that. That's actually kind of interesting.
So there's just like some random fun facts.
I'm actually gonna look that up. I'm curious because I'm pretty sure Joey Porter definitely.
Because I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I know that's I remember seeing something about that.
Huh.
Where did he start college? Let's see. Okay, so. Oh, okay. I'm completely wrong. So he did start at CSU. But CSU initially had him as a halfback.
Yep.
At a running back.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, and then they switched him to D-line. Okay. There was someone that I'm thinking of that I don't remember who it was that CSU got that was really good, who ended up being like a big NFL player. Was it Shaq Barrett? It might have been Shaq.
Shaq. Yeah, Shaq did not start out at CSU.
Yeah, Shaq might have.
Oh, and you know what? I think that is exactly who. But it wasn't Memphis. No, it was not Memphis. He went to Omaha in Nebraska.
Yep, that's what it was. It was Shaq Barrett. Yeah, that makes more sense now. Okay, gotcha. It was. I knew it was someone at CSU who was really good.
Yeah, he came from Omaha and he transferred over. I believe it was 2011. Mm-hmm. And he just. When he got to the Mountain West, he was just a game breaker.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of my most favorite players of all time. And he's a very similar player to Joey Porter, just both at CSU and in the pros. And Joey Porter, for what he did at CSU, it was actually more impressive what he did for the Pittsburgh Steelers, too.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Shaq Barrett was a absolute tank for so long.
For the Buccaneers in his last year for the Broncos,
dude.
Too.
He was probably a top 5 linebacker in the league at one point. Mm-hmm. He was insane. I do wish that CSU had like the jersey retirement more. I think we don't really give out the jersey retirements to many people. I think is it only Becky Hammond and like Fum McGraw that we want?
Yeah, so I believe it's in the football stadium it's Eddie Hanna and Fum McGraw, and then in Moby, I believe it's Becky Hammond and Bill Green.
That's the other one.
And Bill Green is a really fun story. Like, he was a first-round NBA draft pick. Unfortunately, he never played in the NBA.
Was he the number 1 pick?
He was either the number 1, anywhere from the number 1 to number 4 pick or something like that. And I think he got drafted by the Boston Celtics.
And it just never turned out.
And I guess he had like a fear of flying. And because of the charter planes and all that stuff,
he didn't want to.
He just wasn't able to play just because of his fears of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a guy that definitely, I think, he's a little bit outdated for our Ring of Honor.
I think definitely we need to retire some more. I think BVP definitely needs to get his jersey retired. I don't
think he deserves it.
I think Joey Porter definitely.
I think Alboa Baker and Joey Porter deserve it. I think BVP is one of the all-time favorites for CSU Rams, but I just don't think he did enough statistically. But he just wasn't that kind of a quarterback. He wasn't a statistical freak. He wasn't putting up just crazy numbers like a Garrett Grayson or a Nick Stevens or even a Moses Moreno. but he is one of the all-time favorites for CSU football.
Definitely. Trey McBride is another one.
Yeah, I believe eventually I could see Trey McBride getting his jersey retired.
Shaq will probably get his jersey retired at some point, too.
That's a weird one, though, because I would have thought Shaq Barrett would be a guy that people would be talking about right now to retire his jersey, but he just hasn't been mentioned by very
I'm actually
many
kind of
people.
surprised they didn't have Shaq Barrett in this class of the Ring of Honor. I'm kind of
Yeah, he's just not old enough yet.
Yeah,
I think that
because this is their first year of doing
right.
it.
Yeah, I could see Shaq getting added
like
a few more years down the road. I feel like it should be a thing where have they retired already? How much time does it take? Because I know for the Hall of Fame, obviously it's 7 years for the NFL.
Yeah.
I feel like there needs to be a little bit of time in between a guy getting his jersey retired or getting added to this Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, it makes sense because, BVB or BVP and
You're
Joey
struggling.
Porter, I really am. Too many technical difficulties. But Joey Porter and Bradley, they both played in the 90s.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think, 30 years definitely.
Well, all right, let's not be too mean to them. They played in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Well, they're not that old.
I mean, Jason Smith played in the early 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah. But Al Bubba Baker played in the
70s. Early 70s.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm looking at the photo right now.
Yeah.
That helmet there.
Yeah.
That's an old ass helmet.
Yeah.
I think Amy was also.
I believe she was 90s. I might be
90s?
wrong on that.
She might be 90s.
I'm gonna look that up.
I'm pretty sure she was 90s.
Let's see here. Yeah, so she went to school in the early 90s.
Okay, got you. So a lot of these guys are a bunch of 90s.
Yep.
90s people.
Yeah, so for a guy like Trey McBride or Shaq Barrett, it'll definitely take some time for sure.
Oh, definitely. I think probably at least a couple years.
Yeah, so our last segment, you guys have seen it on the scroller throughout the episode, but we just wanted to briefly talk about the new coaches poll coming in. We were both actually surprised to see that Boise State got in, which is I think is really cool for the Mountain West.
I think that is very surprising.
Do they deserve it?
Well,
I don't know, but it is really cool for the Mountain West.
I think it's mostly their quarterback, Madsen Maddox. I think
Maddox Madsen.
I said that completely backwards. Yeah, but I think that's the biggest reason, and also they've
returned enough talent.
How much did they lose on defense?
Not very much.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was part of the reason why. Their defense was kind of part of the reason why that, especially in the Penn State game,
they were able to.
Their defense was hanging around.
Yeah.
It was mostly just Penn State's defense was just
Penn State's defense.
When you're faced going up against Abdul Carter, you're not gonna have a fun time.
No.
And
Ashton Genty
just found that out. Ashton Genty found that out.
They couldn't get going, and when Boise can't run the ball, they can't pass the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this year without Genty, what does their offense look like? I'm not sure how it looks, but they have some dogs in the running back room. They're not Genty, but these guys both. So they have a couple guys in that running back room. Sear Gaines will be their starting running back as long as he's healthy. He's an athletic freak. He's a tank. He's about 210 pounds with 4.4 speed. So, I mean, he's a scary sight for Mountain West defenses. Mm-hmm. And the thing with Maddox Madsen is he's reliable. I mean, he's not going to throw interceptions. I feel like they have the right system offensively to still win games, and they're the favorite in the Mountain West. Yeah. I think that them and UNLV on paper are very similar to each other, but Boise deserves to be ranked.
One team on the 25 I'm a little surprised about that is always up there but just so overrated? Clemson.
I like Clemson.
You like Clemson at 6?
I like Clemson at 3.
You think Clemson?
I put a bet down on Clemson to win the national championship this year.
I wouldn't. I would not. I'm not a big Clemson fan, and I don't think it's the same with K-State. K-State.
I'm not big on the K-State hype train.
K-State is always so underwhelming, dude. They're never they always get highly praised, but they're always so underwhelming. They'll end up going they'll be
I believe last year
top 15 or something,
right?
And then
last year
going
they started. Yeah, last year they started out very high in the preseason poll and went either 7-5 or 8-4. I might have to double check that, But yeah, I think there's multiple teams on here like that. I think Miami's not going to be a top 10 team this year. I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I think ASU will be interesting because as much talent as ASU brought back, Scadaboo was a lot of their offense.
That should be interesting too.
And apparently they've been struggling in camp, as at least that's what the ASU head coach said.
Yeah, they've been like fighting and stuff. Yeah, I've heard about that. Who's another one? BYU at 23.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. BYU is a team that I just feel like they won't be as good as they're projected to be because they did lose their quarterback Jake Retzloff to the portal. I believe he went to Tulane, if I'm not mistaken. But
I think you're right. I think
BYU, apparently they've been having quarterback issues ever since Retzloff left.
Yeah. There's just a lot of drama going on in BYU.
Yeah, there's always drama
in BYU. I don't know. I think BYU's biggest thing was always their defense. Their defense every year is very solid.
Yep.
So if they want to be a top 25 team, I think they're thinking maybe just defensive wise because their defense is pretty. I think BYU's defense is always really good. Like last year, they absolutely ran through the Big 12.
I believe we play BYU next season.
Oh, do we play them next season? I think you might be right.
That'd be a really cool
That would be an interesting game. Yeah, I do. BYU, when I watched the Alamo Bowl, when they played CU.
They looked good
Their
against
defense,
Colorado.
Oh my God, their defense was absolutely killing Colorado's
offense. That was a funny game for me because I'm watching it and I'm like, God, I hate both of these teams. I don't like if they could both lose, I would have been the happiest person on the planet. But out of the two, I was glad that BYU won.
Yeah,
with that being said.
Definitely, 100%. I mean, it just makes sense.
That's just how it added up.
Who else do we got on here? We got Illinois at 12.
Yeah. So what are the teams that you think out of all those are
Michigan at 14, I think that's pretty low. I think Michigan should be a little higher. They got some insane transfers. They got some good guys, and they recruited some really good players, and they got some good transfers as well. I've been reading
I think I could see Michigan being a top 10 team.
Yeah, I can too. Texas Tech. There's a lot of teams I'm just not 100% sure. I haven't really.
I'm actually really high on Texas Tech.
You think so?
So I went through all of the conference winners on DraftKings, and I was really doing in-depth stuff about.
Texas Tech was like a favorite, right?
No. But Texas Tech was about 4th or 5th on the Big 12 betting odds. But I put a $5 bet down on Texas Tech to win the Big 12 because I just think a lot of their transfer guys will make them really better than they have been at all really the last 10, 15 years. They haven't been ranked in the preseason poll, I believe, in 20-something years. And this year they look fantastic on paper. So that's a team I'm excited about. I believe in a team like Indiana's too high. Indiana's going to get away with a lot of things this year because of their schedule. They scheduled easy again. They'll be a 10-2 team that shouldn't be 10-2.
Their defense is another thing too. Their defense is good. They have a great defense. They have a top defense in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
but yeah, like you said, they do have an easy schedule. So
out of this top 5, so we got Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia, Notre Dame. Who would you say out of those 5 is the least likely to make the playoff?
Honestly, this is going to sound very controversial. I think Penn State.
Very controversial to me. I'm going to go Georgia.
I don't think so.
Why do you think Penn State?
They lost a lot on defense. They did lose, their best defensive player. I think their offense is basically the same thing. They lost.
It is.
They lost Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren.
They brought in some very highly touted wide receiver transfers. They brought in a guy named Trevor Pena from Syracuse, who was a really good wide receiver in the ACC last year. And I believe they brought in I can't remember his name. He's a very fast wide receiver. He might be from Georgia Tech. They just got more athletic wide receivers than they've had in a while. I think they're a team to look out for. I think because they're in the Big Ten playing teams like Michigan, Ohio State, I can see your reasoning as well with that.
Well, because I just think there's just better team. I could see Michigan beating Penn State
in Happy Valley.
Once.
It's not happening.
Nah, it's not happening.
It's not happening.
They're not beating them at the Big House either.
I
think they're definitely splitting.
That's whiteout. That game's whiteout too.
Oh, it's not happening. Stadium Pulse is going to be bumping.
Definitely.
Stadium Pulse is going to be bumping. I don't know. One team I'm really – you're going to say this is controversial. I don't think Texas is as good people give them.
I think Texas will be very good. I don't think they're the number one team. And you're going to hate me for saying this, but when I'm going to make my top 25 rankings, I'm going to put Penn State number one. I'm going to do it. They're on paper – they bring back everything they had last year, literally except for Abdul Carter. And that's good enough for me because the fact that I believe they were the third-ranked team in college football last year. Mm-hmm. They bring back everything. Their game against Notre Dame was a very good game. Like, they're one play away from going to overtime against Notre Dame and potentially playing Ohio State in the national championship.
Yeah.
I don't see how that team doesn't make the playoff this year.
I don't know. Just something about them. I'm just getting a weird vibe. I'm just thinking I just don't think they're gonna be that good.
We can make a little wager on it.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea.
I think my reasoning for Georgia is that the SEC is just so stacked this year. Georgia does have a favorable schedule this year. They play Alabama at home. But they
also play LSU, right?
Yeah, they play LSU at home, and I don't like their team very much this year. And I know I should be giving Kirby Smart the benefit of the doubt, and they are just so fun to watch at times. Like, their defense flies around. It has nothing to do with their defense. I just can see Georgia's offense struggling maybe a little bit.
Who's their quarterback?
Gunnar Stockton. And Gunnar Stockton is not a scary sight for defensive ends or defensive backs.
Was he been at Georgia or is he?
He's been at Georgia. He started the last few games of the season last year when Carson Beck went down with injury.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and he was serviceable. I think that's the right word for Gunnar Stockton. He's one of the best high school quarterbacks in the history of high school football, period. He holds all of the state records for Georgia. But I think he is a serviceable college football quarterback. Like, he's not going to beat you with his legs. He's not going to, wow you with arm talent. But I think he'll run the Mike Bobo offense at Georgia to the best of his ability. Mm-hmm. But I'm not predicting they won't make the playoff. I'm just, out of that top five, I think they're the least likely.
Now, okay, let's ask the opposite of that question.
Yeah.
Who in the bottom half do you think is going to make the play? It has a chance to make the playoff?
The easy one to say is Boise State, but I think Texas Tech's my other one just because I think they'll win the Big 12.
Yeah. Tennessee is an interesting one. Tennessee's 18th ranked in the coaches poll, which is surprising.
Nico Iamaleava went to UCLA, and I think they're going to have slight quarterback problems. I think Joey Aguilar, who's a transfer from Appalachian State, he'll be their quarterback this year, and I think he's a guy that will be a good quarterback in the SEC, but maybe the lights might be a little bit too bright for him going from App State to Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah.
I'm not super high on Tennessee this year.
Texas A&M is an interesting one.
A&M's always an interesting one, but if you know the history of A&M, they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not even going to sniff the playoffs because Texas A&M will go 8-4 again.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
They are very good at going 8-4.
They are incredibly good at going 8-4.
I saw on the top 25, Ole Miss is 15.
Yeah, I'm not big on Ole Miss this year. They might finish.
Jackson Dart's really gonna hurt them.
This will be kind of a crazy take. I think where Ole Miss is ranked now is where Auburn will finish the season.
Interesting. Yeah, Auburn's not even in the top. Auburn was
they're 27. No, they were 27th.
Oh, were they 27?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, though it was kind of surprising. I'm actually kind of surprised. And I'm saying this with no bias, Boulder was way down the list, and they have the top. Was it the number 4 quarterback in the not the transfer portal, but in the
Caden Salter.
Caden Salter.
Yeah.
Why do you think that they're so low?
I think in the view of the guys that make the AP poll and the coaches poll is a little bit different because these are coaches that are voting. I think a lot of coaches might think that CU will drop off a little bit this year because they lost so much production from Travis Hunter, from Shedeur.
Yeah.
On paper, CU looks fine, but it's the first year we'll be able to see how Dion operates
without
Colorado, without those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched this video showing the CU player personnel on their defense. Their defense will be better this year, top to bottom. Yeah. I mean, you lose a guy like Travis Hunter at corner, but I feel like at every other position, they've gotten bigger and stronger and faster.
Their biggest issue, and it's always been the biggest issue for the last 2 years, was their run defense. They even it improved last year, definitely.
Some of that might have been a scheme though too.
There was moments where it looked pretty bad.
Yeah, and I think
the BYU game was really, really bad.
I think it looked bad because I think the CU defensive coordinator didn't set up their front seven because their front seven has both size and speed. That defensive coordinator didn't really – I think it's Livingston. No, it's not Livingston. I'm blanking on his name. But I just think schematically he didn't help out the CU defense very much. And if he can figure some things out and he has all the guys coming back, that's what could make CU a top 25 team.
I agree.
I don't even like talking about CU. This feels so much weird. We might need to move on to a different team here.
Yeah. Let's see who else we got. Ohio State's just going to be Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith is probably going to win a freaking best wide receiver in the country.
I think Oregon's a sleeper.
I don't really know.
I don't see them winning a natty. I think Oregon's a sleeper to do some damage. They brought in Dante Moore to be their quarterback, and he was previously at UCLA. He was the backup last year, but he had some game action.
And he looked really good.
And he looked good. So I think Oregon has all the weapons. They have all the talent, too.
Florida's at 17.
Florida's a sleeper for me. They have the toughest schedule in college football.
Is that why they ranked them so low?
I don't think that's why they ranked them so low, because preseason polls are usually based off how does the team look. They have DJ Lagway, who is a guy that is in the running for preseason Heisman expectations, but Florida just has so many tough games that it's just hard to project what they'll finish at because they have so many coin flip games against other top 25 teams.
The SEC is just a pit.
Florida plays 8 top 25 teams this year.
Well, that's just welcome to the SEC.
That's a gauntlet.
Miami at 10 that is a weird.
I don't like that at all. I think
the ACC is so weak this year. I think they're the only real big ACC teams are actually. You know what? I think this is actually not even that bad of a take. I think North Carolina is actually going to be very surprising. I think with Bill Belichick under head coach, I think North Carolina might be pretty good.
I'm on the flip side. I don't have really any expectations for North Carolina. I think that all the Bill Belichick hype is making people think that they will make a huge jump right away. I think if anything, it's going to take time. I saw someone on Twitter earlier today actually project them to go 5-7. I'm like, that's a little bit harsh.
Yeah,
but I think North Carolina wins 8 games,
7 or 8 games. Yeah, 9. I think their ceiling's 9.
I don't think they ever get into the top 25 though, and if they do, it'll surprise me. For sure.
Definitely. Well, didn't they? Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. I think it is going to take time for UNC to become like a really good,
like
school.
A perennial power.
Yeah, definitely in the ACC. Yeah, but I know they did recruit very well. They got a lineman who was like a top 3.
They have been getting 5 stars.
They've been getting some really good 5-star linemen. Yeah, I'm curious how it's going to be though this first year because I don't really know much about their team because what's their history? I think you and me talk about this.
We
before.
did.
They do not have a lot of 10-win seasons. They have
they have one 10-win season
in the last like 15 years.
Was that the Drake May year or was that Howell?
That was Drake Howell is it Drake May and Drake Howell?
No, it's I can't remember his first name either.
We all know who we're talking about.
We're struggling this episode, guys.
Yeah, but they only have like one 10-win season in the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, it was a crazy stat. We had to look at Wikipedia just to make sure because it was kind of mind-boggling.
It was very mind-boggling, especially how the ACC is. I mean, ACC's always been dominated by Florida State and Clemson.
I have no respect for the ACC really anymore, and some of that is biased because of teams like Cal and Stanford going all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast to join the ACC.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And I know it's money related, but it's kind of ruining college football when the ACC is literally taking Pac-12 teams and making them go all the way across the country. And
it's the same with the Big Ten.
Cal and Stanford are pushovers in that league.
Yeah, it's the same with the Big Ten. Big Ten is mostly a Middle Eastern.
Yeah, and them taking Oregon and Washington and USC.
It doesn't make any sense. The SEC makes sense. They took Texas and they took
Oklahoma.
They're both southern state. Southern schools.
Yeah, I can't complain about anything the SEC's done.
Who did the Big 12 add?
The Big 12 added ASU, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah.
That's fine. Colorado's already was. No, they did add to Colorado. You're right.
Yeah, BYU, Colorado, Utah, Arizona State.
That's fine. I think because the Big 12 was always a Midwest.
Oh yeah, no, regionally Midwest. The Big 12 didn't take anyone they shouldn't have. It's literally just the ACC and Big Ten.
And the Big Ten. It's stupid. It makes absolutely no sense.
Jay Norvell talked about this in the presser at Mountain West Media Days. I think in the foreseeable future, whether it's 5 years from now or 10 years from now, we could see a world where there's a 64-team college or 64-team FBS, and everyone else is just left behind. And when you get to that point, the college football landscape's practically just NFL 2.0, and everyone below that's a subdivision. Pretty much. The reason he talked about it is that he's hoping that by making the jump from the Mountain West to the Pac-12,
it's going to put us in a
better chance to eventually get into the top division, those 64 teams. Mm-hmm. And it's so weird to think about because you're leaving behind so many prestigious schools. There might even be some ACC teams that haven't done things in years.
But they're
not a top 64 team, and they're not making anyone money. And it's just we could talk about it more on another episode, but because I can take a deep dive into this, and we could talk about teams that belong in there and don't belong in there.
I think that would be a good segment for next episode.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely should add that. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that actually is a great argument. Because I think we said we're gonna do it live next week, right?
Yeah, so next week we're gonna do our first live episode if we can. We're gonna make sure we get the studio figured out. We will set up our new studio next week, so hopefully next week's episode we'll be able to get all the stuff put up in there. Mm-hmm. Last episode in this room in here.
Honestly, we need an upgrade.
we're getting an upgrade. We're also getting some new equipment, so stay tuned, guys.
Alrighty.
You ready to wrap things up?
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're also going to figure out next week how we can get audio only on the podcast, get it out on Spotify. Maybe also do some links on Twitter, figure that stuff out. But for now, YouTube. It'll be interesting to see how we do next week. Yeah. We're going to get some segments going, and yeah.
Excited for y'all to tune in next week and see the new place, new studio. It's going to be looking a little bit more professional.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, take care, guys. Have a good one.